Hello everyone. Now, you will hear a brief retelling of the film On the Border of Worlds. Enjoy your viewing. Tina is a young woman with a specific appearance who works in the Swedish Customs Service. The lady carefully sniffs all the people who have arrived at the port. She didn't even have to open her bag and check her documents to understand that this underage guy was transporting 4 liters of alcohol. Tina lives in a small house in the middle of the forest. She does not live alone, but with a man named Roland, who is engaged in dog training. Although Tina feels much more comfortable in the company of forest animals than next to Roland, they do not find common topics for conversation at dinner. What did you do today? Nothing. And they sleep on different beds. The next day, Tina stopped a man in a business suit to check. The search yielded nothing, and then the customs officer asked to show the phone. The man reluctantly threw the mobile phone on the table, and, after sniffing it, Tina took out a memory card. The guy snatched it out and tried to swallow it. But we managed to get the drive. Customs officers immediately called the police. Tina was excited by the smell of one man who looks exactly like her. In his bag, she found a strange thing that turned out to be an incubator for insects. Do you like bugs? Tina was attracted to a stranger, and the man promised that they would meet again. In public places, Tina is constantly being stared at. Her father lives in a nursing home. An old man has dementia, and he did not immediately recognize his daughter. Dad calls Roland a crook and believes that he lives with Tina only because of her house, because there is not even intimacy between them. But a woman is satisfied with this. The main thing is that she is not alone. Although that evening, Tina ran away from the annoying Roland into the woods. There, an elk immediately approached her and gave himself a pat. It turns out that there was a forbidden video with the participation of a baby on the flash card. Tina, telling the detective that she feels people's emotions by their smell, the smell of shame, guilt, or anger. Based on them, she draws conclusions. The police need Tina's help. They seem to know exactly where these horrific videos are being filmed, but in order to get a search warrant, they need leads. Tina came home. Dogs, as usual, react aggressively to it. The woman heard Roland talking to his mistress on the phone and went naked to swim in the lake. Having had a bite of fish on the ferry, the strange stranger again approached Tina. The search yielded nothing, but the woman insists that he definitely has something. Left alone with the traveler's belongings, Tina began to sniff his clothes with pleasure. A colleague stripped and groped the type, and was, to put it mildly, discouraged. She has a vagina there, not a penis. And I was extremely embarrassed. And the man also drew attention to the coccyx scar. Tina has the same one. The woman decided to apologize, and at the same time asked the stranger who he was. He said that he was a wanderer, and did not stay anywhere for long. The tramp decided to stay in a hostel near Katina's house, and his name is Viewer. Tina decided to ask her father about her scar on her coccyx. The man said that as a child, she just fell on something sharp when she was 3 years old. But Tina doubts that dad is telling the truth. In the evening, a neighbor couple asked to give them a lift to the hospital. The girl went into labor. Suddenly, Tina stopped in the middle of the road. She sensed that young deer would soon pass through here. In the middle of the night, a drunk Roland suddenly began to molest Tina, but the woman just pushed him off the bed. She has no attraction to this bearded man. There was a fox standing right by the window, who wanted to be near Tina. The lady smelled a new acquaintance and approached his hotel. He was busy with the extraction of insect larvae. He suggested one of them not to go. How disgusting.
It's disgusting.
Thieves disagree. He knows that Tiny would really like to imprison the larva. The woman struggled with a strange desire, but still swallowed one with great pleasure. It turned out to be much tastier than Roland's pasta. The thieves admitted that they didn't really live in the hostel and asked to move in with Tina. When the dogs started barking at the sight of Vura, he growled at them. The dogs immediately drooped and fell silent. Thieves met Roland and went to the guest house where he will live. Tina's face was marked by a lightning strike. The thieves were also struck by lightning. People like them should be wary of lightning. Tina felt the scar, and the guest tried to kiss her. But Tina was confused and returned to Roland. Who is this anyway? A serial killer, a maniac. Tina was brought to a house where a video with children is probably being filmed. A man who smelled of shame and sex just drove up here. He's going to do something bad. The woman followed the smell and, leaning against the door, declared that there was a child behind her. However, when the suspect was opened to them, the policeman dragged her away. They have to work delicately and not give themselves away, But Tina demands to act as soon as possible. There is something bad being done to the baby. The policeman also heard a child screaming. Tina went into the forest to pick mushrooms with Voro. The woman admits that she felt special as a child, and when she grew up, she realized that she was an ordinary person, just a creature with defective chromosomes. There's something wrong between her legs too. If you are different, then believe for the better.
Please don't say that.
Tina also admitted that she can't have children, but she would really like to. The two of them came to the neighbors. The child immediately started crying when he was approached with a bang. In the evening, the man began to sausage. He went further into the forest, took off his pants, and yelled at the top of his voice. The investigation is ongoing. While the suspects are sitting in the bar, Tina and the police will not be able to get into the apartment. In one of the rooms there was a baby cot, in the other there were many awards. Tina smelled the camera. On the recording, they saw something terrible involving a baby. The pervert denies that he is involved in the crime, but his DNA and fingerprints have already been found on the camera. Now we need to find the poor girl from the video. Ronald doesn't like their neighbor, he comes and goes. Dogs are behaving strangely. At the same time, for some reason, Vure himself suppressed the larvae, although he calmly ate them whole before. In the middle of the night, Tina smelled something and imagined that an just like a fox, came to her window. In the morning, with all his dogs, Roland left for the competition, and in the afternoon, it began to rain. The woman is afraid of thunder and lightning, because Thor, the god of thunder, killed trolls and giants. She let in the same terrified her awe. The two of them hid under the table, and lay there until the rain stopped. After that, the unusual couple went to the forest. In he said that the woman was beautiful, and the excited Tina growled and bit his nose. Then something strange happened. Tina suddenly grew out of strings between her legs, and the question of how to fuck these two disappeared by itself. Finally, in he told the lady that they are trolls, they feel emotions and attract lightning. They also had tails at birth, but they were cut off. There is a group like them in Finland. These trolls are nomads. They can't be found, only they can find you. After running naked through the forest, the trolls bathed in the lake. In the evening, the couple enjoys snails in the presence of Roland. After meeting with Vure, life for Tina began to play with new colors, but there is still a dull work in it. A colleague noticed that Tina looked tired and suggested that she take a vacation. She spends all her free time Swiro. He says that retribution is waiting for people soon. Experiments were carried out on his parents. They were tortured for 10 years. Auras were passed from one shelter to another. People are terrible, Latina confirmed. She just helped catch a couple who bullied a child. People are parasites who turn everything on the planet into their own fun. In she convinces Tina that all people are infected with hatred, even her dad is bad, because he cheated on her all her life. The woman came to her father and began to ask questions.
All my life, I felt like a freak.
She had been bullied since childhood, and her father had not said a word to her. But this man is not her dad. Tina's parents are dead. The old man burst into tears and refused to tell who her real parents were. Tina's very bad at heart. And then, Roland demands not to approach the dog, so as not to make her nervous. Tina began to growl threateningly. She threw the TV into the bushes and informed Roland that he was moving out. Are you fucking serious?
It looks like I'm joking.
No. During the night, Roland packed up all his things and at dawn left Tina's life forever. She went into Ver's house when he was not at home. The refrigerator is taped for some reason. The troll said that she kicked Roland out. She no longer wants to live in the old way like people. Tiny is restless. She wants to know what is hiding in the refrigerator. She peeled off the tape and opened the door to find a box. Inside it lay a living and very strange baby. Amazed, Tina returned the box with the baby back to the refrigerator. A woman who participated in the shooting is being questioned at the police station. She said that some man supplied the babies and her boyfriend can show where he lives. The police were driving along the road and almost hit a moose that blocked their path. He approached the car in pulled out the detained pervert, and killed him, breaking his skull with one blow. Tina lied to the detective that she didn't feel anything at the crime scene. Later, she single-handedly figured out where he was hiding in This freak helped perverts and removed the accomplice until he revealed it. It was thieves who stole babies for videography, so he allegedly helped people in their self-destruction. And in the refrigerator, he keeps Hisia, an unfertilized troll egg. He regularly produces Kiziev. The body of the little creature is soft as clay. He feels nothing, can only sleep and eat. The Kizites don't live long. Thieves use them as changelings, leaving them instead of human babies. And he sells children, so that they suffer the same as trolls. You're sick.
Sick.
Damn, you're sick. If there was a man. Kino was furious and almost attacked with a bang, but then she turned around and walked away. When the woman was walking in the woods, she heard an ambulance siren. The neighbor left for a while, and when she returned, she saw that something had happened to the child. Tina went to the crib and realized that instead of a human child, there was a hazard lying there. Indeed, the creature was no longer in the refrigerator, but there was a note on the table. He reminded the woman that she was not a person, and informed her that you would be waiting for her on the ferry. On the ship, the troll began to convince Tina that they had a mission. Together, they will be able to revive their tribe and take revenge on the offenders. But a woman refuses to harm people. She will not do evil. It turned out that Tina had not arrived alone, but together with the police. The thieves handcuffed him, but the grin never left his face. Suddenly, the trolls pushed the cops and threw himself over the side of the ferry and flew into the water. Most likely he drowned in the Urals. Tina decided to transfer her father to her place. The man says that he and his wife wanted to take a little girl from the orphanage many years ago. He then worked as a caretaker in a psychiatric clinic, and Tina's parents were kept there. There were a lot of people like her in those days. Her mom and dad didn't live long, and the man took little Tina to him. However, her real parents gave her a different name, Ravo. Ravo.
How beautiful.
Rava's offended by the old man. When she found out that her real parents were buried at the hospital, she immediately went to see them. Tina became a hermit. One day after breakfast, she returned to the house and found a package on the porch. The troll dragged her into the house, took off the packaging, and saw a box with holes in front of her. Inside the chest was a little troll with a tail and a beard. The gift was accompanied by a postcard from Finland. The tribe found a roar. She went outside and fed the crying baby insects. Ravo finally became a mom.